NRL State of Origin, the marquee
Queenslander.
I deleted it from the notes.
Why are you wearing a blue shirt?
just to rub it in. Fuck you guys.
Fuck. Let's talk about how good a game it was for the neutral.
Yes,
the
great
neutral
football
viewer,
game.
one of the
What
better
a
State of
neutral
Origin
viewer.
games. And who won? It doesn't really matter that much. To be honest,
It's only one game.
Just
It
good
is a
for the
three-game
game.
There's
series.
two more to play.
You realise he's wearing a maroon jersey?
Yeah.
Maroon shirt, I should
Actually,
say.
yeah.
Should have switched. That's why I went for this nice neutral green. Yeah, go Tasmania. All right, 80,000 in Stadium Australia, the biggest rugby league crowd in the post-COVID era. Did you see they were struggling initially
They only sold out tickets on the day. So
Yeah, crazy, huh?
Yeah, right.
I wonder if that was a pricing issue.
Cost of living in
Cost of
Sydney.
living.
NRL problems.
Yeah, Sydney issue, perhaps.
Yeah. I think the league's got some
It
problems
wasn't
with that.
like rainy or anything like that, was
no.
it? So I didn't have to worry about
No.
that as a factor.
Anyway,
They have less trouble selling tickets in Perth than they will in Sydney, and that probably speaks to where the NRL currently is.
that speaks to where Sydney is. People hate travelling to that venue. They don't like watching football there. It's too hard to get in and out of. We could
69.
rabbit on about this forever. The teams, Queensland, they debut 4 players: Selwyn Cobbo, Ruben Cotter, Pat Carrigan, Jeremiah Nanai. I must admit, before the game, looking at those names, obviously we've spoken a fair bit about Cobbo and he maybe being a future superstar of our game, if he's not a superstar already. They didn't instill fear into my possibly arrogant, naive, overly bold confidence in this New South Wales team winning this game. All of those players were excellent on debut, but we will break that down a little bit further. And then a little bit of, I don't know if it was mind games from Freddie or what exactly was going on. Cam Murray and Junior Paulo were initially named. They went to the bench, and Revan Campbell-Gillard and Liam Martin start for the Blues. Stephen Crichton and Ryan Madison debut off the bench.
I wonder if that messed up the Queensland a little bit as well, because Papali only played 5 minutes in that second half too. So
That was weird.
yeah,
that was
it was
really
weird, definitely. So I'm just wondering whether they kind of changed it. Well, of course they had the injuries and they were down 1 or 2 guys on the bench for a large period of that second half. So that's, they probably saved Papali, but they saved him for a lot of if he's going to only play 5 minutes. But anyway, it's interesting. I think the changing in strategy maybe played a little bit into that with the props.
Let's talk about the game. Big talking point since the wrapping up of State of Origin Game 1 was the Isaiah Yeo. It couldn't have been a concussion because there wasn't a HIA. There was a head clash.
There was no check for
There was a head clash between Isaiah Yeo and Papali'i on.
I think he copped a bit of forearm as well.
Yeah, and a
First
little bit.
play of the game.
He
setup.
wobbled for 4 seconds.
Well, he went down.
and then he was back in the line
Yeah,
defending.
well, Tarek Sims grabs him and helps him get back
and
in the
stood him up.
line.
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
it's just like, you got to get back into position here. So, they didn't. By reports, it didn't hit level 2 or something, so it didn't warrant a further check. I think they maybe should have been a bit more cautious considering the dude's history of having concussions every other week. But hey, Penrith have ruled him out for this week. So he won't play today
because of
that. So they
say ruled out.
They've ruled out and haven't given us an injury.
Yeah, they don't have to.
He played 80 minutes and has done nothing since. So I don't think there's any other things.
Tight hammies, bro.
Yeah. Well, they didn't say rested. They could have just said he was rested, but yeah, they've ruled him out. So he's injured.
And obviously the conversation here is around this is State of Origin. It is treated in a different respect than, say, Penrith are playing the West Tigers and it's round 3 and there's nothing on the line.
Also true.
Isaiah Yeo perhaps maybe goes and sits down. Look.
It's the player welfare question. This is like they of course are going to play on. The coach is going to want them to play on.
The fans
everyone there. So that's the whole point of an independent doctor. Is
and they do have that
decision.
18th man for that reason, right?
Yeah.
Ooh, do they have a medical sub?
Yeah,
they did.
So Nico Hines
yeah.
is
But
the 18th man.
that's just part of the game.
And it's not like for like.
But it's also isn't it still they have like the 3 head injury rules or something to then be able to It's not like the AFL.
It's not like the
so-
AFL is one. They have to have 3. I think.
Yeah, exactly. It's stupid. You'll lose half your team before you use a medical sub.
Oh, it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. So again, NRL and player welfare, meh.
But it's a warrior sport as well. Like I'm not.
Yeah, it is.
I am defending the decision. I think you have to weight them different. Of course, it's not good for your brain, but also it's state of origin, and these guys play that many games in a year, and you're just as likely to have a head knock in a game that means nothing. And I think in that circumstance, they would have said, "Okay, come sit down. You know, we can go without."
Yeah. But then again, you see the NFL and you see guys routinely dying under 50 from brain-related CTE injuries.
Yeah,
so it's just like it's just, and we talked about this a little bit. It's that short-term game for the loss of the long-term potentially. And it's just like and I guess going like your point, you're in the gladiator sport. What do you expect? You're putting yourself in that position.
Yeah, we're literally watching 2 men that are
Trying to beat the shit out of
6'4", 205 pounds. Try to knock each other out at the moment. So, you've got to consider welfare, but you've also got to consider that these guys give informed consent and want to be warriors and want to be there in front of 80,000 and do their best. So I can see both sides of the argument for sure, but maybe I am kind of leaning towards the let the boy play if he's able to in a state of origin kind of camp.
So what happened the rest of the game after that first play?
That's first hit up.
Xavier Coates could have gone the length of the field. He had an intercept which pretty much hit him on the tit. I imagine with his speed he would have gone 90 metres, but it was the Canberra Raider Jack Whiten who had possibly been
New South Wales best, I reckon.
Yeah, had been picked out of position playing in the centres. He was unreal. It was Luai with the draw and pass, and Whiten was way too strong there for Dane Gagai and Selwyn Cobbo, both themselves pretty big, handy defenders. You think Jack Whiten was the best for the Blues in this game?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
He offered the most. I think he gave him the most opportunities for line breaks to potentially get good field position and to score points.
Yeah, he had a real good one when they were chasing points that second half.
Yeah.
He got
Good
down the
fans
wing
down
and
the
he
wing.
just kind of got clipped or he stumbled a little bit.
He was
And
playing
if he
against
kept
Gagai, wasn't
But
he?
if he kept his balance, they were in again, and it was just a little bit off balance.
Yeah.
And so he scored one, had that line break, and could have.
I think
he was their best.
Gagai, in my opinion, was probably playing on one leg because he had that huge strapping and taping on that thigh. I think he must have had a bit of a bad thigh cork. So played through it, but he wasn't at his fastest. And I think Jack, with just the extra power, did what he needed to do and had a really good game against Gagai.
Didn't stop Gagai from scoring himself, though, did it?
It was all off the back of Selwyn Cobbo.
Yeah, that was great because the Ponga pass hits the ground. So Cobbo picks it up on the half volley, running full speed down the wing.
Down the side.
I thought Teddy got sucked in a little bit. I can't remember who was chasing. I think it was Luai from the inside.
Yeah.
Looked like he had him, but Teddy kind of came up and then Cobbo kicked it in behind for Gagai to bounced up.
Good
Perfect.
bounce. Good
Bounced
bounce.
up perfect for him, didn't
Right
it?
time,
So,
yeah.
but yeah, good play from Cobbo.
Yeah, great little, and because he was going out of bounds, so he had to do something. And rather than throwing the panic pass inside, kicked ahead, perfect weight on it, and sets up Gagai. It's Origin, of course. Dane Gagai scores. He just lifts above
Was he
and beyond.
$1.10 for any time price golf?
Yeah, $2.50 or something.
He always scores.
Yeah,
Him and the other guy who scored later too. That's
Yeah, indeed. Cam Munster, how good was he? We spoke about Jack Whiten being the best for the Blues. I think Cam Munster was the best bloke on the field.
Yep.
That one where he threw that big dummy to the right and he just goes bang, 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 breaks 3 tackles and breaks the line and that actually led to the DCE try.
Yeah, he didn't want to remember. He just skipped over it.
Thoughts around Munster? Talking about the Junior Paulo.
well, just before half time. That was under the posts and would have put him up.
It was atrocious.
Would have been 10-6.
I hate
Yeah.
it. Like you have to run through the line. Cam Murray knew that he had to run through the line. The commentators knew it.
We knew it. We're sitting
we
there
knew
next
it.
to it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we knew it straight away.
So for me, this was the first game of league I've watched all year.
Yeah.
And I messaged you boys the next day. I go, how's the bunker work, lads? Because the commentators I was listening to on the KO playback say, yep, obstruction, yeah, no worries, of course it is. But they say, but Queensland are way offside here. DCE's practically in the backfield already. And does bunker not look at that? And you guys just went, who knows how the bunker works? And I thought, okay,
well, that's been every
week, game.
Every week, the talking point in terms of officiating is what is the bunker going on? Like, why is it there? If they're going to look at things 1,000 times, and still,
why is it there if it's going to fuck it up?
It's still
because that was an interesting thing for me. Because I kind of was thinking through, anytime there's a referral in cricket, they check everything, and they check, is it snick? You know, even if it's like, even if it's missed,
they've got the procedure
by miles. It's like,
yeah,
let's check for court, let's check for LBW.
So the big difference, I guess, in this analogy is cricket is a slower paced game, especially in Test cricket. Whereas everyone complains it's the rugby league's got to be fast paced, all these stoppages. So they, I think they've got a set thing they got to look through and do it as quickly as they can, get to a result, game on, keep playing. Versus, let's spend 3 minutes.
Not
going
to
to
check
for
everything. Offside. Not going to check for.
Yeah, but even to that, they do check all tries anyway. So like when they're setting up for the kick, they go back and review it, and then if they do suspect something, then they go.
Second thing is what I'm getting at. It's not let's go through everything and check.
I think it's more just they've got their blinkers on. Like, all right, we'll dealing with a try. We'll look for obstruction or
the ref sent it up as I've got possible obstruction. Can you check it? So that's what they.
Like, to be honest,
the ref
if it
probably
was
should have picked the offside and called a penalty.
To be honest, if it is a penalty, then they probably kick the 2 and go in a half at 6-6, and it probably doesn't make a difference to the end result. But
I think it's
it was
fair.
Just interesting for me. I
think it's fair in that they go, yep, no try, obstruction, but offside, penalty. What do you want to do? And they can make a decision from there. Like, I get in my mind that's fair. That's the outcome. But you know what the bunkers like? They'll miss that and they focus on the Jimmy Paulo thing. And they weren't done for the game. Then were they? Of course, they were called upon again. They got the Cameron Murray thing right in regards to
that was obstruction. Yeah.
It was pretty clear with understanding. You run on the line, you stop in the line and impede people. Then they're always going to call that, unfortunately.
And then after halftime,
back
to the bunker. When the DCE, off that try off the scrum that Munster set up with that line break.
Yeah, so DCE walks in untouched, no one within cooee of him. Yep. It was Tarek Sims, which had kind of
and Tedesco. They both
but Tarek's in the line, and then Teddy's the fullback. I think Teddy probably has reason to be over-committing.
Yes,
has reason to be over-committing.
Whereas Tarek Sims is like the man he's meant to be marking is DC.
Yeah,
that's correct.
Yep. So and look, if you're trying to defend these right outside backs of Queensland who had been very good, I can see why he was trying to get a little bit of a head start heading over. To defend to his left there, but that was one of the softest tries you'll ever see in State of Origin football, wasn't it? And DCE could barely believe it. I think that he'd walked in. Do you think that's a film thing that they did with Slater and looking at set plays and
potentially, or maybe just to read DCE, could say though, hey, they're overcommitted over here. I'm just gonna. I'll chance my arm. I'll run this one and see what happens.
Yeah. It wasn't even a big right foot step. It was
just a little one.
We were sort of talking about Teddy was bolting that hard to the outside.
And you're talking about I guess the play of or the emphasis of having a scrum in NRL and stuff like. This is exactly it's still.
That's why they That's why they keep him. That's why it still exists.
Speaking of which, the New South Welshman fans have been bitching about the fact that Junior Paulo was potentially held up in that scrum a little bit.
And he came out and said, someone was pulling me, yada yada.
But it's a scrum, so you kind of go into that expecting, and that happens all the time. The props always link arms essentially to hold each other in there. So that's a very regular thing that happens week in, week out.
You reckon?
Plus, we already talked about it. It was Tarek Sims' man. Junior Paulo was not going to be marking him anyway.
And was Paulo going to ever be in a position where he runs down and tackles DCE there?
No, not especially when Teddy is also in the backfield there. And
that's it.
And this is from a one-eyed Blues supporter that. Had I had this conversation when I was 16, this is bullshit. This is bullshit.
That's it.
No, Paulo was never going to affect that play. I don't think it's pretty redundant.
I mean, 100%. You look at games through the regular part of the season, through a scrum. Sorry,
Scum.
scum.
Scummy.
Tell us what you really think.
Scum.
Queenslanders. During the regular season, like the players in the scrum just stand there anyway and just let the ball sort of play on and just walk back into the line anyway. So I suppose considering he scored the try there, you're going to try and call something out. But yeah, it's nothing in that, I guess.
Hopefully they can fix up that line defence from the set play for game 2.
Well, their line defence in the next one was also an issue here. So we're going into the Valentine homes.
Got him! Yes, he's got middle stump. He hasn't offered a shot. It's taken middle stump.
Val. Just
Val.
say Val.
That's gone
It was
to-
even up there for you. Just made it easy.
Man. And Valentino is not even. We're talking about Valentina Shevchenko. Valentino is like Valentino Rossi.
So
blah,
you-
blah, 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 blah.
That's it.
Holmes,
With the
Holmes
trifecta of
Val
that.
Holmes. What did he
Val
do?
Holmes. He scored a try and off the assist from Ponga. And if you watch the replay of this one, it was actually an excellent vision from Ponga because he's kind of loitering behind the ball. Just looks up and then sees that he's on the short side. He's got Haas, Cleary, and the winger as the 3. And he's
Where was Crichton?
Well, that's the thing.
That's a good question, isn't it?
I think maybe he was in the tackle.
Maybe,
but he's checked it. So then he's checked his
Ponga
run
on Haas.
Yeah, he's checked his run, come back out to the short side, gets it. Then I think it makes it a 4-on-3 anyway. Actually, no, it was a mark. It was 3-on-3.
3-on-3. But he just got to the outside of him with speed.
Yeah, Haas can't get there. That pulls Nathan in, which
yeah.
then pulls Tupou in, and he just throws a cutout ball.
Yeah.
Home scores.
I think
Too
Tupou
easy.
was already lined up too far in.
Potentially as well. And he
begin
also gets dragged in a metre as well. And
Yeah.
creates plenty of room for Holmes just to walk in for another try.
Thought he had a really good game, Val Holmes.
he was good.
Right at the end of the first half, New South Wales put a kick in. His speed he was the first one there to kind of kill it off.
I think the big
there was
one
another
diving
time in
at
the second
Nathan's
half.
feet,
second half where they
Cleary's
they put a kick in. He was the first one back there.
Yeah, big time.
His speed was a huge asset for Queensland, and he played very well. Another guy that, of course, he does it in Origin.
Yeah.
He loves the Origin.
Oh,
try.
he's actually been very good for the Cowboys this year.
He's been having a great season.
Yeah, he's definitely lifted, playing really well in the centres. Found a nice home there, I think. He kind of fits his size and build and his speed very, very well. We'll have to
And
see how that goes.
speaking of, Kalen Ponga also looked much more dangerous when he had a
he
few
did.
weapons around.
when he has some talent around.
yeah. There's been games that I've watched this year where he's going, he can't get himself involved. And there's been other games when they played the Dragons, and where it's like Ponga's the best player on the field here by far. So just needed a little bit of cattle around him. You see the photo doing the rounds of him with Billy Slater back in 2013, I think. And
he would have been young.
Ponga was playing under 16s or something, and he's a lean little thing.
Yeah.
His hair's looking very red, and then the photo obviously of him embracing Billy Slater. Next to it, 8 years down the track or whatever it was. It's nice to see. Now, this was when New South Wales looked like they might be staging a potential comeback, just getting those little fibres in your body.
Throw caution to the wind.
Yeah.
Really, they had to.
Well, I suppose leading up to this, because the Maroons did have a few injuries, Sean was pretty worried that they would be a little bit gassed in the last
after that
10,
Holmes
20
try,
minutes.
I said, I think we need to score another one
'cause it was
because I reckon New South Wales is going to chase
Coates
us.
was
Yeah.
done.
Yeah, when did Coach go off? About 50th minute?
Yes,
Yeah, and then Nanai had that
as well.
Then I went,
injury.
went out,
rolled ankle. or
rolled
something,
ankle, and then
didn't he?
came
So-
back.
Yeah.
And did they have one other?
No, I think that was
No,
it.
that
But that
was
was
it.
probably why Papali didn't play much.
Yeah, they saved him till late.
Because
Wow, this fight's
all
going
those
back and forth.
Cowboys back rowers that got
Yeah.
the game had to play a lot of football.
That's it. And then, that I guess, led into the next try.
Yeah, well, yes, through that 60th minute, then the New South Wales kind of took the ascendancy, and then the Cameron Murray try, they basically went 90 on that one because they just went straight down the middle, and Queensland were buggered at that point.
Tedesco was getting more and more involved.
Yep.
He had 290 run meters, Teddy.
Well, I think
he did everything he could.
Yeah, Peps and I talked about this a little bit as we were driving over. That the structures for the New South Wales team, and credit to the Queensland team with their strategy, was very much to take Nathan out of the game. Like they rushed up on fourth whenever he got the ball to try and tackle him, take him out of that fifth tackle option. And without Latrell and Turbo, they really had no attacking options. And Jack was doing as much as he could.
It was really down that left side with Jack. What the other side, Staggs, and then Crichton took over from him, but that right side really didn't offer much attacking options.
Yeah, and I think that probably came with Nathan getting shot down as well. He couldn't give them any good service.
True.
So a bit of game plan there, but that last 30 minutes essentially ended up being the Teddy show because they were just feeding him the ball and just like make something happen. We need you to break one open and hopefully we can get through there. Whether it's like Cook and
Cookie was getting
fall
a
off
bit more
Cookie
involved
and
too.
so
Cookie was very good. Made 54 tackles as well, I think. But it begs the question: is Stephen Crichton the man for the 14 role when you've got a guy like Nico Hines who's sitting there as an 18th man, who I think would be a perfect injection? At that point where you're looking for that X factor, and no rub against Stephen Crichton, been one of the form centres in the NRL this year.
He's got to play centre,
but I just don't think he gives you the versatility that a Nico Hines gives you. I suppose the counter argument is, Nico's not as big. Can he go out and if someone goes down in the 5th minute and you've got to chuck him out there to play 75 minutes in the centres, can he defend? That's the counterpoint. But I just
plays 80 every week for Sharks, doesn't he? Or?
Yeah, but he plays as a halfback, so I suppose doesn't have that pressure on him so much, in terms of line defence. But I just feel like as a Blues fan, when you feel that momentum starting to build, and if you had a guy like Nico Hines in there, who's arguably been the best player in the comp this year, and if you don't want to argue that, he's definitely been top 5. Having him in there to inject, something in the last half an hour, it'd be an interesting decision for Freddie for game 2 to see.
Do you know what I think they lacked as well? They lacked a bit of pace, a bit of extra X factor that they probably could have done without a Gar in the squad. I think him over Tupou, Daniel Tupou was there very much to limit what Cobo did, and he did.
Tupou wasn't bad.
He wasn't bad, but I think Addo-Carr maybe adds an extra level in the attack that you probably
they just didn't go down that side.
Exactly.
That was also a problem.
Really.
So we did cover that, but I would have thought maybe a little bit of extra pace there on chasing some of those balls might have paid off a little bit of dividends.
Nice bit of symmetry in the game in that the first play of the game with Isaiah Yeo also involved in the last play of the game where it got a bee's dick away.
Dude, I was just about standing up. I thought he was going to crash over, and he gets tackled a metre short, and then you feel like he might get to play the ball.
They did well to slow him down. Make sure that was the last play.
Siren goes, and full credit to Queensland, etc., etc. One of the best Origin games in recent memory. Obviously, stings as a New South Wales Blues fan losing in Sydney in a series where you're probably favoured to take the thing, and now it's going to be very, very difficult. They have to win in Perth just to give them a shot to try to go win up, in the impenetrable fortress of Suncorp Stadium. But for Queensland fans and for, kind of a bit more neutral sort of viewers, Stan, you're saying this was the first game of rugby league that you watched this year. Obviously living in Adelaide, it gets swept under the rug a little bit, as they like to do with dead bodies in terms of...
into barrels.
Yeah, some of the crazy murders that have come out of Adelaide. If you're into true crime podcast, this isn't the one for you. But anyways, I don't know where I'm going with that. For you, watching... this being your first game of NRL this year had to be good. Had to be good viewing.
Yeah, obviously close scoreline, which you love, and right up to that last second, you still don't know who's going to win, and but it did seem that they do, like you kind of said at the top of the segment, talking about Yo with his concussion, they do seem to put the whistle away a bit in Origin, just let the boys play, which is fine because it goes both ways, doesn't it? It's just let the boys play, and so it did seem really just to be that last 20 minutes, and it's obviously you got the best players out there, so you got the best defenders out there. So it was 16-10, low scoring, not as many tries as you'd like to see. But it wasn't really until that last 20 minutes where you really saw it open up, a few more line breaks, a bit more speed in the game. But that's what happens when you get the best players out there, the best coaches, best defenders, all that kind of stuff. So, 2 weeks to game 2?
Yeah, it's a Sunday night.
Sunday night.
Sunday night,
in Perth.
Not this weekend, but next.
I was wondering, can you chase up how many penalties were in the game? It
2 each or something.
It wasn't
pretty
much.
low.
It wasn't much. And how good?
Yeah, that's what you want.
Yeah.
But it just kind of meant both teams often have to bring it out from their own 20, their own 30, not getting to start a set
Not a lot of people.
in the other half.
There wasn't a lot of set restarts either in the game too. So.
True. So,
New South Wales conceded 4 and Queensland conceded 3.
4-3. Okay, a
There you go.
little bit more than we thought, but still.
Unders for the rest of the rest of the league.
That's 30 minutes, week to week in the NRL.
injuries coming out of the game? So,
Yeah, so-
Coates left the game, as
Yeah,
we've
Paul-
already highlighted.
Poor
surgery
fella.
for him.
Yeah, he.
Surgery. Ooh.
So break.
He won't play in the series, I don't think, again.
No, confirmed. But broken ankle and syndesmosis repair. Hopefully, can get good for later in the year for club footy. But that's his Origin campaign done.
Yeah, early chat, potentially Oates is a replacement. He had a
Oates
swollen,
for Coates.
yeah, he had
Just drop the C and you're good to go.
he had a swollen hand out of that game last night, but had a blinder, so he could probably go in that squad. But then it was also the hammer.
Who was in the squad?
Yeah, so
I wonder if he goes straight in. Hamiso, Tabuai, Fido.
They're the options.
Kyle Felt had been good for the Cowboys. He's currently on the sidelines with an MCL. He won't be. I don't know if he'll be good for game 2. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Nathan Cleary had a big old shiner on his eye. I think it was just a head knock. Penrith teams should actually be announced for today.
Yep.
Not sure if he's good. Has anyone seen that? Is he good to
I think he's good to go.
go? They start in an hour.
The other big one that happened last night.
He's
that wasn't-
named. Yeah, he's
wasn't
named.
in this game was Payne Haas. Did the AC in his right shoulder. He has been struggling with a left AC all season, but potentially this one may be a little bit worse. But we'll have to wait and see. I think he's got to get scans, etc.
Okay.
And Tony Staggs came off the field as well.
Did a shoulder too and didn't play, and I think he's off for scans as well.
It's a bit of damage for Broncos.
Yeah, the Broncos
Yeah,
had a horror game last night. Herbie Farnworth tore his bicep and season done. Missed the World Cup for England, and Reynolds broke a rib, so he's probably out a month as well.